Here is a 2024 Honda Civic Hatch in Raleigh red over black leather, the EXL. That's what we're showing, and this is the sweet spot underneath the Sport Touring in the sense of the upgrades that you get. There's 4 different trims. There is different styling when you go to the sedan opposed to the hatch. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and right off the top, the front grille gets honeycomb for the hatch. For the sedan, it's going to get vertical bars, and the Honda badging will be placed higher. Full LED lights is standard. When you go into the EXL, LED headlights and daytime running, 6.7 inches of clearance is still with the hatch. With the matte black that's going to surround the lower, the windshield A-pillars have been pushed back 2 inches so it makes more visibility for the front in taking care of safety. You get standard 6 safety features whether you option the base trim or go up the tier. These features include collision avoidance, road departure, reverse camera, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and traffic sign recognition. As you go up to the EXL, it will add blind spot. The LX and the Sport will not receive this 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 180 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque paired to a CVT transmission, achieving 31 mpgs for the city and 39 mpgs for the highway. Standard is a 16-inch wheel. These are 17-inch alloy wheels, and I like the fastback design because it's giving that European styling, in which this is what started the brand, especially the interior. This is also going to have the same styling for the CRV and HRV. The Pilot will be a little bit different, but on the exterior, this is how they got the style for the new Honda Accord that was also refreshed last year. From the refresh, we got a reworked suspension, which include the bushing, ball joints, and dampers. Honda also says that this will reduce harshness and noise by 20%, stretching the wheelbase by 1.4 inches and a length at 184 inches. 4.9 inches smaller than the sedan, sleek roof lines that integrate into the LED center lights that spin nearly the whole center to emphasize the larger rear track. LED taillight. The rear was also redesigned with a lightweight composite hatch. They did move the hinges for the mechanics outwards to allow the roof to reduce by 50 millimeters in the hinge area. It's about 20% lighter than the prior gen. Going to the Sport Touring gets dual exhaust outlets and reverse parking sensors. Leather bucket seats, 8-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 4-way manual adjustment for the passenger, heated front seats perforated with the contrast stitch. Headroom and leg room. You get sport pedals when you get to the Sport Touring. The center cluster is small, but it's still sporty enough. You get kind of an aluminum look throughout. Honeycomb starts with the seamless air vents and the gloss black that's going to surround it with a 7-inch touchscreen with AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse, and we have a standard reverse camera with full trajectory that expands out. You can change the camera layout to make it easy if you want to tow. I don't know why you would. Dual climate control starts on this trim. Wireless charging pad goes into the Sport Touring, USB and 12 volts, and here is the key fob for the Civic Hatch. Leather around the shifter, leather steering wheel starts on the Sport trim, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. It is a 3-spoke layout. Gauge cluster gets a 7-inch digital reader that can go through an array of information for the driver. And the center is going to be soft where you rest your arms, opens up into a deep storage pocket. This can move a couple of different angles, so you can put it here or here, and the dash is going to be more of a flat layout. As you go up the tier, you get more speakers. So it starts off with 4 speaker setup with 160 watts. The Sport will give you 8 speakers, 180 watts. The EXL just carries that over. And if you want the 12 speakers, you have to go to the Sport Touring. Manual dimming rear view mirror, and a moonroof starts on the EXL. The door is going to have more everyday materials. You get the gloss black, one touch up and down for the front windows, and it's soft to touch where it needs to be with a smaller storage pocket. For the back seat, you have plenty of headroom, even though it's a slope roof design. Leg space is going to be the same thing. No storage behind the driver, but behind the passenger. USB ports will be on the Sport Touring. Armrest with cup holders. Going to lift that up for later on. The door gets stripped of that gloss black material, and one touch up and down goes into the Sport Touring. It's going to be soft to touch with a smaller storage pocket that you can fit a flask. The floor is not completely flat, so you're going to have to pick your feet up. The rails are pushed up enough. If the seat is back though, you can see I can't actually put my foot underneath it. So I will be sharing some feet space, butt space I will be sharing as well, and shoulder space because it's not that wide, even though it is a wide profile, but headroom is really good for the fastback design. 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, you're getting 22 horsepower more than the 2.0 liter, 180 horsepower is total, with 177 pound-feet of torque, retuned CVT transmission, which was done also for the refresh. The fastback European design, it rides low to the ground with a wide stance, so it makes it even more sporty than the numbers project. And here we go. Smooth ride. Feels like it's just hugging these corners. This is not something that's so athletic. You can put it into the sport mode through the shifter, so I like the easy access to it. And if you want it to be more eco, you just go into econ, put it back into drive, and now you're sipping fuel. Either way, you're going to be sipping fuel with the Civic. That's going to take me into some pros and cons, and starting off with the pros, when you get into the hatch, you get more cargo capacity. You're going to lose a little bit of headroom, but it's not a significant amount. You saw in the interior specs, I can fit. The con is you need to go to the Sport Touring in order to get USB ports in the back. At least we get the air vents, that does help a little bit, and you get an armrest when you're in the XLE. Power up and down for all the windows, you have to go to the Sport trim. So there is a few cons in the sense that you have to go up the tier. There is no options, but on the Pro, there's only 4 trims. So if you are looking at comparable rivals like Mazda, for instance, the hatch in that is going to cost a significant increase in price, especially if you go to the turbo variant. This will be the upgraded engine. Anything underneath the XLE will not receive this powertrain. Here we go again. When you put it into S, it really does just take off. Some other pros, the interior to the Civic is what set the stage for Honda, and I like what they've done, because if you don't want to go up to an Accord because maybe it's just too big or you feel like it's too grown up, especially because it's a hybrid or the 1.5 liter turbocharged, they no longer do the 2.0. This is something that can be considered for sporty, yet it feels athletic because it sits a little bit lower and the seats are still comfortable. Power seat adjustment, leather when you're getting into the EXL trim, and you're still getting great MPGs. Some other cons is you can't get the upgraded 9-inch screen only in the Sport Touring. So I'm not a huge fan of going up the tiers. I would like to see options. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, I'd like to see that across the board for all trim. Braking, not bad. Wrapping it around, getting about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. A lane departure warning. If you are touching the line, you'll feel the vibrations on the steering wheel to put you more centered into the lane. I like the safety features that you get to unlock all the safety features. Again, Sport Touring. Road noise doesn't filter in as much as the prior gen, even though you are riding on upgraded wheels. And visibility is really good. Usually when you're in these vehicles, you can't see hardly anything, but because they have pushed back the A-pillars about 2 inches, it's made it a lot more accessible for visibility, and the windows on the side are large, even though on the exterior it looks sleek. So nailing that European design, but keeping safety in mind. Honda did a great job with that. Comparing it to Toyota, this is going to have a lot more room than the hatch for the Corolla. And you're going to have a lot more cargo capacity. It does move quicker 0 to 60, so your motivation will be more so over here. And if you want more power, you go into the SI. And I pulled like this to show you the biggest problem or issue that I have is the front overhang. Yes, you have clearance, so it's not too bad, but it is something to get used to. If you're tall, you're going to have to sit lower. The nice thing here is the door panels are raised, so it keeps that sporty feel, which you're not going to have that with Toyota. The seat is also going to be longer and wider in the Civic opposed to Toyota. The Mazda is going to have the most blind spots in the back, where here you still have visibility. Just make sure you read the sticker that it doesn't have BD, which would give you a delete for blind spot monitoring, because that is a feature that is on the EXL. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Regal Honda for giving us this 2024 Honda Civic Hatch EXL for our car review.